Hey guys, welcome back to the Homework Assignment Podcast. I'm your host, RJ Patino, and yet again, we are going to talk about things that we need to do on a daily basis to be able to balance our home life and our work life. We missed a few weeks of recording, which I apologize to all of you who look forward to our podcasts. We had a lot of things going on, and I learned a valuable lesson that podcasting definitely takes time and it takes dedication, and it definitely needs to be a priority, or else it's going to get lost in all the chaos. So with those adjustments that are being made to ensure that we do record, we're going to make sure to have a recording every single week, post a new content weekly, if not more if we can, to be able to provide everything that you guys are looking for in the education part of business and just kind of following our experiences and all the people we're going to be interviewing. So kind of want to just give you guys a recap of the last couple of weeks. It's been outrageously insane the last 2 weeks because we had a couple cool things going on. Number one, I've been out of town due to jobs and stuff, and building some relationships with some clients that's panning out, and that is fantastic. We should touch base on that. Sometimes, in business at least, we have to do things to establish a relationship, and I've done that a few times. I've done a few things to where people needed some last minute things that maybe I don't do on a normal basis. That's either smaller than what I usually do, or maybe something special that I've never done. And I've gone out of my way to accomplish these things for certain clients that I've wanted to build a relationship with, and that's led into a great relationship, work that I actually do, and has built a trust with the client. So don't be afraid to take that leap if it's something like, hey, I don't normally do this. Or this is too small of a project, whatever the case is, jump into it if you believe that relationship has potential and you have the vision to be able to see that. Apart from that, we had an amazing opportunity to be part of a contractor coalition summit hosted by AFT, Brad Levitt, and NS Builders, as well as Contractor to Style, Construction to Style. And they hosted an amazing event. It was in Austin, Texas, so it was fantastic. We actually did something a little fun because it was my birthday over this last Friday, so I dragged my wife and my daughters with me. So instead of flying from Phoenix to Austin, we thought it'd be fun to go to Vegas, hop on a flight there. So went to Vegas, missed my flight, and so we ended up having to stay a day in Vegas, and we made the best of it. We had a bunch of fun, and went the next morning, made our flight, but that ended us up a little bit late to the summit, which is totally fine. We still learned a ton of stuff, made some great relationships, and built just great knowledge and relationships that are going to help propel our company forward. For those of you that don't know, because I'm not sure if I ever talked about it, the vision here at Elder Contracting is to provide a luxurious experience while building a dream home or bringing a dream to life, specifically in new construction and remodeling, renovating. So for me, it's been really important to establish these relationships, not just with other local companies, but companies from all over the nation, some of the top builders, top performing companies, and be able to establish relationships and learn what they're doing in their company, their structure, how they're, being able to provide that A+ experience to their customers. And this summit allowed me to do that. So it was fantastic. Like I said, I met a lot of great people and I learned a lot of great things. And it's interesting to see they present something, you're like, oh, you know what? I've been doing that. That's what it's called? Okay, fantastic. No wonder it's working. And now that you recognize and know it, you're able to, dive into it deeper and take out all the kinks and make it perform even better. So it was fantastic, and I didn't have a certain topic I was going to talk about today, but I just wanted to get on here and wanted to talk. I wanted to be able to provide and dedicate myself to the podcast, and so I just wanted to share a little bit of the things that I've learned and some of the insights that took place in my head while listening to some of these amazing people who built these companies over several years and became some of the best in the nation. One of the things that really grasps me is that, just like we've talked about before, the life that we live can get very crazy. And so it's really important to have time to yourself. The last couple months, if not longer, I've been going through a little bit of a head spin to where, things haven't gone necessarily the way I've wanted it to. And, we've all faced disappointment. And sometimes, especially in my position, which I may be speaking for many people, sometimes, I can feel like I have the world weighted on my shoulders. When you're an entrepreneur, you own a company, you have a lot of people that rely on you. Not only do your clients rely on you, but so do your employees and the people who work for you. And sometimes that can be a lot of weight to hold. And if you don't find a way to release that, it builds up. And then when things go wrong or things don't go as planned on a day, which is a daily occurrence, right? I mean, things never go the way we want it to. Sometimes things will go good, but there's always problems. And, there was a podcast a little while ago, we talked about expecting the unexpected. And so even with that mindset, if you let these things build up and this weight really just, grow over time, it's going to come down to a point where you're just, you're having a day and something doesn't go right, that weight just crushes you. And that is a normal occurrence to a lot of people in this industry that I'm in entrepreneurship in general. And so it's really important to take that time and be able to clear your mind. And so some of the changes like we're making, especially in our work life, is we're adjusting our hours of operation. We're adjusting our hours of communication with our clients so that we can dedicate after hours and weekends to ourselves, to rejuvenate, to spend time with our family and be able to balance that a little bit more. So that was kind of one of the cool lessons that I learned, is that, I hear this all the time, like, hey, you need to hustle, you need to do this. It's nonstop 24/7. And it is, okay? The mindset never dies. The hunger never dies. But you have to take time to rebalance yourself, to rejuvenate and gain that energy that you need. If you just go, and you're not taking care of yourself, at some point you're going to collapse. And when that collapse happens, it could be a career-ending collapse. It could be, even a life-ending collapse. And so take that time for yourselves, okay? It's okay to understand that, hey, I may not be working in this moment. I may be sitting on the couch talking to my wife. I may be playing my kids. I may be out at Disneyland for a vacation. It's okay to do that. Take the time that you need, because nothing's going anywhere. And you're going to be able to operate at a higher capacity. You're going to be able to operate better by taking that time for yourself. And I do think that's one of the big misconceptions in entrepreneurship or the hustle in general, is that they think the minute that you stop, you're not dedicated. Don't feel that way. It's okay to be dedicated to your work as well as your home life and yourself, so you can perform better and you can be at your A game, your peak 24/7 for the people that you're surrounding yourself with, the people that you're providing for, the people that you're working with that are collaborating with you, right? So take that time, take a deep breath, breathe, and be able to spend the time that you need to focus on yourself. Thinking about that, I know we interviewed Blake on our last podcast, and I remember talking to him and asking him, like, hey, well, why do you get up at 3 a.m.? And like he said, hey, those hours are for me, because after, a certain time in the day, everybody's calling me. The world needs me. And so whatever works for you guys, find that time. Definitely readjust yourself, center yourself, and get a good ground so that you can start explosive every single day. And it's going to be different for everybody, right? Another important lesson that I learned was that you're never, how do I put this? Don't let your feeling of not being big enough, good enough, or being able to provide enough hold you back from going where you want to go. So it's been interesting for me because, we've jumped into a couple coaching programs over, this last year, and the programs that we've been a part of, we're a very blessed company. I think we're more blessed than we deserve, because we just keep growing even through all the mistakes we're making. There's just something we're doing right, and it may just be the pure, love of Christ that's kind of carrying us along. But we've been blessed to be, a decent sized company and have a decent amount of revenue coming in. And so we're a little bit bigger than some of the companies we've been a part, that have been a part of these coaching programs that we're in. And so it's been interesting to be there, be in that position and listen to things being taught. And then it's awesome to go to like the summit I went to and be the smallest company there, be the company that's doing the least amount of revenue, be the company that's maybe even been in business of the least amount of time. And have the least amount of employees. And so I'm not going to say it was a humbling experience. You know what, I will, because the knowledge definitely was. I mean, I don't ever, I don't think anybody on our team is very boastful or prideful about where we are. We're all very grateful and understand that we make a lot of mistakes and we're still learning a ton. But it definitely was an interesting experience to be surrounded by these people that, are 10 times bigger, that have spent so much more time or have, done it right and made less mistakes because they learned the right way to do it before they started, and kind of be in that environment. And it made me feel like, oh man, I'm inadequate. Like, what am I doing here? Should I even be here? Like, why was I invited? Why did I qualify to come to the summit? And one of the things I learned is that, you know what, we may have been the smallest, but we're enough to go where we want to go. And so one of the biggest takes that I had from that was that, I've had this plan of going a certain way in my company and in my life and my career. And I always thought I was a little bit further away than how I felt at this conference. I felt like, you know what, it's going to be a step-by-step process, which it is. But I felt like I had 100 steps to get to where I needed to go. And this made me realize, no, I can do this now. I can dive into this now. And so I think, taking that and looking back, I can pinpoint exact moments where I did feel inadequate. I felt inadequate with what I was doing in my life. I felt inadequate myself. Asking my questions, can I do this? Am I equipped for this? Did they choose the right person? Did my clients choose the right contractor? I know I felt that a ton, and I still feel that when I get jobs that are bigger than my biggest job that we've ever done. We're, about to sign on one right now, and it's like, okay, big property, 7,000 square feet, we're going to do an addition, and it's like, and can I provide my client the experience they're paying us for, right? And it's all talk until you're actually in the situation. And the answer to that is yes, you can, we can. And that little voice in our head that's telling us we're not good enough, we're inadequate, that voice is nothing but negative, and we need to fight that. Because if we don't, we miss all these amazing opportunities. And we've all succumbed to this in our life. We've all been a victim to that voice in our head that says, hey, you can't do this. This isn't going to work. You're not good enough. Or even maybe a little bit less negative, like, hey, you just got to wait a little bit longer. Like I said, I was feeling like, oh, I have 100 more steps. I've been making progress, but we're just not there quite yet. When in reality, I am there. It's time to go now. So like, what was holding me back? Well, it was that feeling of inadequacy. It was that feeling that, I don't have this system just right. Or, what, because of this one thing, I may not be able to provide the best experience for my client. And in reality, I have all the tools, I have all the resources, and I have all the wit and the grit to be able to get what I need to get done and provide that for my client. And that pressure, that anxiety, that comes with the territory, right? And so it's easy to also mistake that for the same thing, that little voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, just because you're feeling the anxiety of something unknown, something new, the nervousness and the feeling, of inadequacy. That's always going to come time and time again as you go bigger and bigger and bigger, and you grow and grow and grow. I can correlate that with, becoming a dad when, I found out my wife was pregnant, and it's like, you're so excited in the beginning. And then I laid down at night and I was like, am I ready to be a dad? Like, I'm gonna have to provide for this little child. I'm gonna have to, it's not just me that like is gonna get hurt if I do something wrong or if I make a mistake. Like, it's gonna, affect my child now. And now I got to protect her and make sure they're safe. And now when we go out of town on trips, like I'm going to be on a crazy dad mode. Am I going to be able to protect her? Am I big enough? Am I strong enough if somebody wants to hurt my family? I mean, there's just all these things that's just were going through my head. And, I felt that feeling again right there, and the feeling of inadequacy. I'm not good enough yet. I should have waited. I should have had a better career, or, been further in my career before I had a kid, or I should, made more money, or I should have got bigger. I should have worked on me and my wife's marriage more. But in reality, I was ready. And now I'm having my third kid, and that's after adopting 2 kids. And I feel this time around ready. Now, guess what? I still kind of make more money. so ingrown in business. I'm still doing all the same things I was doing with my first kid. And now I can look back and see that track record of like, okay, I succeeded, and I'm going to succeed again. And so I do still face that inadequacy feeling, even with having my third child, even having gone through it a couple of times. But it's not as strong, and I'm more confident now, right? I'm more confident. Maybe it's going to get today when I have my 6th or 8th kid, because yes, we're crazy. Me and my wife want 8 kids. Maybe I'm going to get to 8th kid and maybe not even feel that, but I highly doubt it, because we're human and we want to be the best version of ourselves. Okay, we want to reach our utmost potential, and with that, we're always going to feel at times we're not good enough, and we're especially going to feel that when we fail. Okay, when maybe your kid falls off a bed, or you backed up and hurt your child on accident, or you saw something happening and you could have avoided it and you didn't, or you made a wrong business decision, or you took on the wrong job. I mean, those moments of failure, those battles that we lost and or will lose, those are going to provide those feelings again. So we're going to come into contact with it time and time again, right? But as you probably know where I'm going with this, is that doesn't mean the war is over, right? You lost a couple battles, but that's fine. You can conquer the war. So those were probably the 2 biggest takes I had from this summit, and it's caused me to do a few things. Adjust the structure of my company, adjust the vision a little bit, adjust the steps that we're taking to get to where we want to go, to implement things I've been waiting to implement because I thought I needed to wait a little bit longer to be a little bit bigger, when in reality, I know who we are, I know what we can do, and I know our potential. And that potential can be implemented now. And so for any of you out there that have that feeling of inadequacy, fight that voice, fight it. Trust yourselves, trust your gut, follow who you are and who you want to be, and don't stop, even if other people or yourself are telling you that you can't do it. Because I'm here to tell you, you definitely can. And the difference between the people who make it and succeed and the people who don't are the people who listen to that voice or other people, and the people who don't. Time and time again. I can't think of one success story that I've listened to where somebody told them, or people didn't tell them that, hey, you can't do this, or you're not going to do this, or they didn't feel that they could do this. Like I said, it's all part of the game. So listen to those around you that have gone through it and understand and be prepared that you're going to go through it, and it's okay, because if you push through it, you're going to succeed and you're going to get to where you're wanting to go. And guess what? You're going to face it again. Then you're going to push through again, and you're going to face it again, and then you're going to push through. But it's going to be step by step more success, and it's going to be easier and easier as time goes on and the more you face it. So all in all, guys, it's fun, it's hard, it's exhausting to try and find the balance between home and work life, and trying to make sure that you're being successful not only on the battlefield but also at home with your family, and not only being the best employee or the best business owner, but also trying to be the best dad, the best brother, the best nephew. We all have families, so wherever you're at in your life, it's definitely possible to do both, but it takes time and it takes understanding. And so I hope you guys get enough out of this podcast as we continue to go to be able to implement these little things and remember these things as the days go on, that you're doing it, keep with it, implement all the things we're talking about, listen to the experience from all these other people, ask family members, ask other people in your industries or your careers what they're doing, people that are, more successful than you, and what they're doing to balance that life, and how they're coping with it, and how they're, pushing themselves, and what they do to, work out and get more exercise. Most successful people are going to have all the same principles, because they're universal, and they've existed for thousands of years, and they work. That's the most important concept to understand, is that they work. This is a homework assignment podcast. Tune in next week. We're going to have a great show for you guys. We got more guest speakers on our way. And if you haven't liked or followed us, click the link below, the Linktree link. You can follow all of our social media. It's also going to have our social media for Elder Contracting. We're going to be pounding amazing content out on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, not only of the homework assignment podcast, but all the stuff that we're doing in our company. I think it's really important that you guys are going to be able to see the stuff that we're talking about here actually being implemented in our company, and you're going to be able to see all the amazing things that come from it. So tune in and make sure you like and share the show.